I thought it was great that he spoke in that just fucking hardcore apocalypse, like kind of gravelly, total dead serious. There was no like stupid one-liners coming from through the whole movie. He's just a serious bad dude.
Yeah, he had his purpose, he had his mission, and he was doing it. There was no quips. There was none of that stupid Lex Luthor, jokes about Jolly Ranchers or shit like that.
Well,
They showed him fighting Green Lanterns in a flashback.
yeah, and there's that one character I still don't know who it is. It said the gods came to help in that scene, and it shows a dude shoot lightning out of his arm and blow the mother boxes apart. And I was wondering maybe if that was supposed to be Shazam, one of the Greek gods. I don't know who that character is supposed to be.
Yeah, I got to go back and look at that and see. The little things in this movie I absolutely love. Like, I loved basically military Alfred.
Yeah. Jeremy Irons is a good Alfred.
He's a great
one. And whatever people think of Ben Affleck, I think Ben Affleck's the best Batman that's ever been in a movie. I don't care what anybody thinks. He's the best Batman so far.
And what they did is they do a good job that they established this is not young Batman. This is a Batman who's been Batman for 20 years.
What I love about his voice is that when he's in the Batman suit, he's got a vocal harmonizer on that deepens his voice. And he's not just doing the gruff Christian Bale
Ricola voice.
Yeah, but it's like a deep, distorted voice, like he's using a harmonizer.
But I also love the fact that he's a Batman, that he's Batman. He doesn't care about the consequences. He does what needs to be done to get the job done, and to hell with the consequences.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there were obviously a couple of like tweaks to people's backgrounds. Like Barry Allen, apparently they just say he was struck by lightning in this. So he's not even involved with the police crime lab until
they mention it a little bit when he's talking to Cyborg. He has a moment with Cyborg where they talk about they're the accidents.
Yeah, and all they say about it is he was struck by lightning.
Yeah,
and so you don't really get exactly how or why. But I mean, really, in the end, lightning hit him. The Speed Force came to find Barry Allen. That's kind of what. That's what I take from it. It's like
I love the Speed Force in this movie. Can I just say, much better than the fucking Flash TV show.
Oh yeah, it's really cool. I like that he generates the charge off of him.
Yeah, the electricity, which we know the Flash does that. We see it in the comics, we see it in the animated stuff. When he's running, he generates that electricity. And I also like the fact that he mentions that he burns so much calories he has to constantly eat because the how fast he goes in his metabolism.
Well, that's an ongoing thing with Barry Allen. Always had, like, he's always had to eat a lot.
Yeah, but they don't really touch on that, I think, in the TV show. He's always just kind of normal. This one, I love that he's first of all, he's funny as hell. That's jokes.
That's kind of a Flash trait too. He's kind of a wisecracking superhero, and he's kind of cocky when he's the Flash, and I thought that just his humor in it made a lot more sense than the mopey kind of teenagery.
I love Irish. I should be the one with Irish. And the fact
granted, the guy on TV looks more like Barry Allen from the comic books, but I mean, this guy has the personality down better.
And I like the fact that they show you him and his dad in prison, and they mention his the backstory, which would play into the Reverse Flash going back in time, killing his mom, setting that whole thing up. Cyborg was amazing in this fucking movie. He wasn't just a side character. He had a major role. He was very important to everything. If it wasn't for Cyborg, they could not have achieved the end game of getting the mother boxes what they needed to do.
Yeah, I like that he was taken like really serious. Like he was really serious the whole time too. I like that there wasn't a whole lot of that. Like Superman kind of because a couple of those one-liners, which I love though, because I love Superman. It's like Superman's like kind of comes in to clean up the problem.
He's a big Boy Scout. That's what I like. Is they finally made him more like the big Boy Scout. I love it. He flies off to save civilians. He flies back and he's like, "This guy's still bothering you?" And he just punches Steppenwolf and then eye lasers him into the ground. It's like you guys haven't taken care of this guy yet? Come on.
Yeah. Like, do I got to do everything around here?
Yeah.
Well, oh man, one of the coolest fucking things of the whole movie was when they resurrected Clark with the Kryptonian like birth matrix or whatever the hell that thing is.
And the mother box, yeah.
And so when they resurrect Clark, he flies out of the ship, the Kryptonian ship, and he goes to like his monument, and the rest of the they kind of come to contain him, the Justice League, and when they all go to stop him, they all run at him, and Superman's just got them all at arm's length and is just standing there like it doesn't like like they can't move him. It's like Aquaman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and the greatest part is Flash takes off and starts running, thinking he's going to be all badass and sneak up, and then Clark just looks right at him while he's in the Speed Force. Clark could see him, and just the look on Barry Allen's face of like shock and horror that Clark's looking right the fuck at him and he's going to get him. That's fucking priceless. That's a great moment.
And
also,
then when he
the Flash Superman race. There's not only one, there's two.
Yeah.
Flash Superman races in this, which is fucking awesome.
Well, when he grabbed Batman, when he saw Batman, he's like, "I remember you," and he lifts him up and he's like, "Do you bleed?"
Yeah.
I mean, that was just amazing, and the fact that I like that it had to be Lois that calmed him down.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense that Lois would be the one to calm him down. And I like that there wasn't a lot of Lois in this, that she had a part and it wasn't a lot, but she was utilized, I think, well. Wonder Woman was fantastic. She was amazing.
I love that the Superman wasn't the mopey Superman of not really so much a Man of Steel. I guess he kind of was a Man of Steel, and then Batman vs Superman he was more serious. I like that this one was more like, I believe in justice, Mister. It's kind of that like all American like old school Superman vibe. When
they're saving the civilians and Flash just pushes those civilians' car. And he's like, "Yeah, look what I did." And then you see Superman like flying with a whole like building full of civilians.
A giant apartment building on his back.
Flash is just like, "God damn it, man!"
Well, he calls it. When Superman flies up next to him when he's running, Superman flies up behind him and calls him Slowpoke. And when he gets close to him, and Flash is like, "Oh, it's on!" And he runs and grabs the truck and starts pushing it. And that's when he sees Superman just flying over with a building on his back, full of people.
J.K. Simmons as Gordon, fantastic Gordon.
Yeah.
An older, more established. He looks like Gordon. He looks like fucking Gordon.
Yeah, Momoa was a lot cooler as Aquaman than I thought he was going to be.
Really reminded me of the '90s Aquaman.
Yeah, it was definitely that vibe with him, like the kind of like rougher, like warrior Aquaman, not the like Super Friends Aquaman for sure.
Yeah. That was the only part that I kind of had a little bit of awkwardness with, was him and Mara's scene together in Atlantis. Now, the Atlantis was done fantastic. I thought
it's short, though. I mean,
it's short. It just, the dialogue was, the dialogue is what got. I mean, it's very minute in the whole scheme of the movie, but it was just that dialogue between Mara and Aquaman. It was kind of like, but the scene.
But it's also one of my favorite parts. Yeah, it's also one of my favorite parts when he comes there to fight Steppenwolf underwater, and it's just he grabs him like by the helmet and starts swinging him around. And they get in that big fight underwater. That's pretty cool. And I thought the way that the Atlanteans move underwater was way cool. I'm glad that they didn't make him do the Kevin Costner dolphin move through the water. I'm glad he just moves on his own power, almost like Superman flies underwater.
It's almost like they generate like a water current behind them.
Yeah, well, he can
them around.
They make it evident that he controls the water, which was a cool thing to stress with Aquaman, because he does that. Most people think he just talks to fish. It's like, no, he controls water as well.
And they make jokes of that. Batman's like, "You talk to fish. You can't talk to fish, right?" And he's just like, technically, I speak to the water talks to the fish, But Jason Momoa as Aquaman, he was badass. Him flying through the air, beating the shit out of parademons.
Oh, that was cool.
With the trident, and he doesn't want to die, Chief. He's young. He's got shit to do.
I don't know, when I saw some of the stuff, like in the trailer when it was coming out, like the only thing I really ever saw was the trailer. I made sure I didn't read any articles. I didn't watch any like spoiler videos on YouTube. But I would watch the trailer and I'd think, I don't know about the CGI in that. I don't know if it's just, I hate those CGI backgrounds. But no, when the movie was complete and done and I watched it, it looks fucking great. The whole thing looks good. Everything
makes sense. Everybody's like, "Oh, there's another red sky." But it makes sense because Steppenwolf is basically terraforming.
Yeah, he's turning into another apocalypse,
Eclipse.
which is red.
Yeah, everything. If you really know your comic books and you really know these characters, it makes so much sense. I mean, they could have easily done first Justice League story and have him fight Starro, but which I don't know. I kind of want to see Starro on the big screen.
And like to make a movie that especially that, like I said, most of the people that I know, I don't know what like these guys that I know actually read a lot of comics. I know these guys personally. I've known them for years on social media, and I've argued with them. I fought with them, but and especially like Adrian Hunter, that guy, and Shane on Twitter. I've gotten arguments over comic books and movies with those guys a million times, and but I know that they just absorb comic book knowledge, and they both loved it. So I knew going in, that's the only thing I really knew is like these two guys that I know and generally trust about, comic books and know that they, know their shit. They're both saying that it's great. And so when I watched it and they're right. I think it's fucking fantastic.
Well, I think it's the same. I think it's what we always talk about. It's the fact that we, those of us who have absorbed so many comic books in our lives and just have followed these characters for so long, we're just excited that we get to see them on the big screen in live action, fighting, We had that discussion. Yeah. We had the discussion on Messenger, yes, I like the Michael Keaton Batman. I liked him as Batman. I liked him as Bruce Wayne. But yes, to finally see Batman swinging from a zip line, flying in, doing flips, brooding on the side of a building, like actually like on the side of a building.
Yeah, like he's like scary. Like they made Batman like creepy. It's like the very opening scene when the cat burglar guy comes out on the roof and he's walking and he kind of looks and he kind of like rubs his eyes and just kind of like keeps looking because across the way on a building is just Batman just hanging there just fucking staring at him. Yeah. Like really dark, creepy Batman, and it's like, man, that's fucking Batman. And then he does like the backflip off that water tower, and it does like the ninja moves. It's like, man, that's what Batman's supposed to look like. And none of the other costumes could even move.
And that's the thing, like I said, with Keaton, I give it a pass because that costume was so rigid. It was so rigid. That's why every movement Keaton had to make was like a full body movement when he. Yeah,
and every Batman even after him and every George Clooney, Val Kilmer, they all had to just go toe to toe with guys on the ground.
Yeah.
And they couldn't flip around and do all that shit because the suit was so stiff they couldn't move. They could like do like a 3-guy punch and it's like almost as corny as like Adam West's choreography. Like Ben Affleck Batman does like sweep kicks and flips over people and grabs them and flips them over his back and bounces off the ceiling.
And if you watch the movie, we caught this. Listen at the scene where the Batman drives the Batmobile out of the jet, and listen to the score that's playing. It's the fucking Michael Keaton 1989 Danny Elfman fucking Batman.
Yeah, it is. It goes da 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 like when he starts to whenever there's a couple of scenes.
It's like
I think that happens. There's also the Alexander Salkind theme that from is that who wrote that? I can't remember who did the Superman theme. But the Superman theme from the Christopher Reeve. There's a moment
I caught that too.
Which part is it? It's the I think it's just like the old Superman. It plays just a snippet of that when Superman scenes are up.
Yeah,
like different times.
They did a really good job of integrating that into the orchestra music that they made for this film, and it's like a little nod to fans. Now, it would have been great. I'll have to listen to it again. I think it would have been great if like scenes with like Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Flash. If we got a little bit of the Super Friends theme, that would have been cool. If we got just a little bit of the Super Friends.
Yeah, but man, I don't know what people want. I'm not really. I watched that and thought this is virtually a perfect superhero film. It's like, you know how difficult it is to integrate all these stories over these past couple of movies and have it culminate in this and have all these characters come together like this and it be this cool and satisfying as a comic reader myself and satisfying as a movie to watch. Like I've watched it twice already and I loved it both times. I loved it even more the second time. And it's like that's difficult to do, to put that, especially with what happened with Snyder's daughter.